Blessings and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast, a weekly and practical podcast with the intention to assist us as we walk along the paths of freedom and awakening, so that we, that is you and me, may set ourselves free to be in ever-expanding love and joy and peace and harmony and wholeness and abundance, so that we may set ourselves free to transform our lives over and over and over again, so that we may set ourselves free to forever allow for greater and grander expressions of who and what we are to emerge. All of this regardless of external conditions and circumstances, and with ever-expanding ease and grace. My name is Daniel Roquéo, and I'm your host. Blessings and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast. This wonderful podcast about freedom, about awakening, about spiritual growth and unfoldment, about us eternally allowing for ever greater and grander expressions of who and what we are to emerge, about us releasing, letting go of that which no longer serves, so that we may continue to expand our consciousness, so that we may continue to raise our vibration, so that we may allow for more and more and more of the good that we desire to flow into our experience, to emerge from within us. So this is a beautiful path to be on, and I'm very grateful that I am here, and I'm very grateful that you are here, that you're choosing to tune in, that you're choosing to join me in a moment of exploration, in a moment of expanding our consciousness, and as I said, allowing for our vibration to be raised to ever higher and higher and higher levels. My name is Daniel Roquéo, and today we are talking about one of the most fundamental practices there is, one of the most powerful tools that we have, and yet, at least for me, one of the most, I'm going to say, difficult to remember. We're talking about gratitude, we're talking about appreciation, we are talking about Thanksgiving, and actually the topic for today is celebrating the moments of answered prayer. Celebrating the moments of answered prayer. And so we're going to do a whole lot of exploring, and I'm going to be sharing how this relates to me and my life. But as always, before that, let's have a moment of moving into stillness, moving into silence, moving into meditation, followed by a brief prayer. And so in this moment, I invite us all to make ourselves comfortable. I invite us to close our eyes, to put a smile on our faces. I invite us to gently tap between our eyebrows to activate that first eye, the divine eye. And while we tap, let's establish our intentions, our reasons, the purpose for our sitting here in meditation. For me, this purpose is always, my intention is always to wake up to what I am, to forever allow for greater and grand expressions of that who and what to emerge, and to be an ever more powerful and ever expanding point of healing here on this planet. These are my intentions. We can release the tapping. I invite us to remain smiling, to place our hands in our lap, palms facing upward, and perhaps having our thumbs and middle fingers touch as a sign of receptivity, being open and available. And I invite us to turn our attention toward the breath, to turn it away from external conditions and circumstances and turn it toward the breath. Or we get to realize that the body doesn't need any kind of help in breathing, so we get to observe and witness the breath as it happens, as the chest rises and falls, as the air flows in and out. We get to observe it, witness it. And we're also invited to be aware that each breath has 4 stages. There's the in-breath, the space between in and out breath, the out-breath, and the space between out and in-breath. And especially that last stage, the space between out and in-breath. That's oftentimes where our attention drifts away from the breath. So being mindful of that space, being very intentional in keeping our attention on that space, it allows for us to sustain our attention on the breath for longer and longer periods, and with ever-increasing ease and grace. So as we take on the feeling tone that right in this moment, right now, right here, all is well, let's give the peace that follows permission to move us into the stillness and into the silence. Should the attention drift away from the breath, let's gently and lovingly turn it back to the breath and begin again. Let's come back to the breath and begin again. Let's come back to the breath and begin again. to the breath and begin again. Let's come back to the breath and begin again. As I move us into an opening prayer, I invite us all to remain with our eyes closed, our hearts open, our minds open. So in this moment, how grateful I am that I get to walk this path, that I get to continuously become aware of that which needs to be released and let go of, so that I may release and let it go, so that I may allow for the next great and grand expression of who and what I am to emerge. How grateful I am that I get to live this life of continuous expansion, of continuous growth, of continuous unfoldment. This beautiful adventure of stretching, of going beyond that which is, allowing for more of that which God is to be revealed in us and through me. I'm so grateful for the beautiful tools and practices and techniques that are at our fingertips in any given moment, that I can lean into, that I can pull up from my toolbox to use, that allows me to stay in a high vibration, that allows me to stay expanded, even when perhaps circumstances may be calling me to contract. Recognizing God as the one power, the one mind, the one life, the one intelligence, the one peace, the one love, the one all there is. I know that God is boundless, eternal, infinite, limitless. The God is that which I can see and that which I can't see. God is all that I hear and all that I can't hear. God is all that I know and all that I don't know. God is every single tree, every single planet, every single supernova, black hole, every single bug, every single grain of sand, every molecule, every cell, every fiber, every wave of energy. God is the air, the stillness, the song, the word, the silence. There's nothing outside of spirit. There's no place nor space I can ever go or be where God is not. But being omnipresent and omnipresence, God is fully present in every space and place, always for itself, always benevolent, always expressing itself beautifully, perfectly, magnificently, withholding nothing, asking for nothing in return, making no mistakes, no random acts. There is only complete love and complete expression, perfection in the expression that God is. And we are one with it. Right? Regardless of when we are, where we are one with it. We are God expressing itself, being itself, doing itself in us and through us. We are the one mind, a unique, perfect, whole, and complete expression of the one life, of the one intelligence, of the one love, of the one loving presence. We are it as it is us. Never separated, never set apart, never distant, never distanced, never diminished. Always standing in absolute oneness, absolute unity with this the one. So I bless us all. I bless this oneness as it expresses itself in us and through us in such a beautiful and powerful and magnificent way.
Okej, jag hittade det här på webben om Express visar finnas en toa sits bjuder för.
Knowing that as God is the only thing there is, as God is the only thing that is happening here and now, regardless of when or where here and now is. As God is good, all is well. Something wonderful is happening. Everything is working for the highest good. I know it, I feel it, I accept it, I allow it to be. So it is, so be it, so shall it be. Amen. All right. So celebrating the moments of answered prayer, or another way of saying it is living in the land of thank you, or living in the space of thank you. Perpetual, eternal thank you, gratitude. And this just came up for me earlier this morning. I had a completely different topic that I had caught for this session, but this came up, and as I'm realizing that this is so, gratitude is one of the most powerful tools that we have. In the prayer, the word toolbox came up or came through, and we all have this toolbox that we get to fill with whatever practices and whatever tools we are inspired by, or we feel compelled by, or we want to use. So we get to fill it with meditation and prayer and studying and hanging out in high fellowship and gratitude and coming back to the breath and begin again and reaching or leaning into affirmations, prayer journal. There's some regular journaling. There's so many tools that we have, and these are just a few. Generosity, loving kindness, being of service, to name still just a few. And gratitude is one of the most fundamental practices and tools that we have. It is so easy, it's so simple to lean into gratitude, to say thank you, to move ourselves into a mode of being appreciative of that which is, not necessarily that which seems to be good on the surface only, but the advanced stages of gratitude is being grateful for everything, even the challenges that come into our experience. And I'm preparing a course. I'm in the process of creating a course, and I did a little background study. This is a course on the modality of prayer that I'm leaning into, the 6-step spiritual mind treatment, or the 6-step affirmative prayer. So that's the course in creation. And I was doing a little background study on that, and I heard this brilliant being, Reverend Kim Stanwood Ternova. She was speaking about the 5th step, which is Thanksgiving. And she was talking about celebrating the moments of answered prayer. And I know for me, and I've heard this so many times, so many times, to be in this state of continuous, perpetual gratitude for everything. And yet, and I absolutely do lean into gratitude all through my days, but not to the extent that I could. And every time I've heard someone speak, and even every time I hear myself speak about gratitude, there is that little that little nudging voice within me saying that, or whispering that I still have some stretching to do, I still have some expansion to do when it comes to gratitude. So this whole smorgasbord of possibilities and opportunities for me to lean into gratitude, it's all right here, but I'm just sort of picking the corner of it. And hearing Reverend Kim talking about celebrating the moments of answered prayer, I became aware of these last few months, always, but I'm sort of not remembering much before the last few months, or the last couple of months. They are, as I'm still in this beautiful process of transformation, as I'm still in this beautiful process of change, I'm very much in this space right now. So much is being released, so much is being dissolved, so much new is emerging into my life. I'm becoming a different individual, and the way I show up in the world is completely different, and the way what my life is becoming about is being completely transformed. So much is happening on a daily basis. So much is happening. So much good is happening on a daily basis. Even just this morning, I received an email inviting me to be a presenter at a conference. It's supposed to take place in September, I believe. I know nothing about this conference, so I replied that I would need some more information before I feel into whether this is a fit for me or not. But just being invited, that is a moment of answered prayer, as I am much of my prayer work revolves around me stepping more fully into being a greater teacher and healer than I've ever imagined. Revolves around me leaning more into being a humble servant of spirit, of being God's instrument of peace, of love, of joy, of wholeness and healing here on the planet. Much of my prayer work revolves around that. And so being invited, this is a spiritual conference. I know that much. I know that much. So just being invited is absolutely my prayer being answered. And yet, and there's so many examples. There's so many examples. People reach out to me on a daily basis, thanking me for how the content, the healing work that flows through me, how it has affected them, how it touches them, how it moves them, how it inspires them. And even while I do appreciate, so the invitation for me here is to stop, as gratitude is a very powerful vibrational aligner. Gratitude and saying thank you and living in the land of appreciation and thankfulness means acknowledging the good that is here. It means that we turn our attention toward it, and whatever we turn our attention to the most, whatever we talk about the most, think about the most, feel about the most, that is what we're calling into our experience. So gratitude is a very powerful tool that we get to use to vibrationally align with the good that we desire. The more we're grateful, the more we will be given to be grateful for. So the opportunity for me here is to, whenever someone emails me or reaches out to me, to stop, give thanks, truly lean into gratitude for this opportunity to serve, because that's what I'm praying for, that I get to serve in ever more expanding ways. Being a greater teacher and healer, it's just another way of articulating being of service, so that I get to stand in the service of God, that I get to stand in the service of love, that I get to serve and assist individuals in waking up, in transforming their lives. Everything and anything that is related to that is my prayers being answered. And so the invitation for me is to stop and acknowledge that, to stop and celebrate every single one of them. I'm receiving so many blessings. I'm receiving so many gifts right now. So much good is flowing into my life. But I am so, by habit, I'm so much, I don't know why I am not in the habit of giving thanks for it. I'm not stopping. I'm not acknowledging each and every single blessing as I become aware of them. I think it has to do with my perception of time, which is very distorted. It's very limited. So my perception of time is that I don't have enough. I don't have enough of it. So even as I am moving away from being in the mode of doing, to more and more being in the mode of being, I'm still entertaining that idea that there's lack of time. I don't have enough time to do what I feel inspired to do, what I feel I need to do. And so historically, I have been under the influence, under the notion that I don't have time to stop and acknowledge the good. If I were to stop, and obviously it might be a little bit impractical to stop every time I became aware of my prayers being answered. But to allow that to expand, to allow the gratitude to expand, it is a powerful tool that I'm wise to use, that we are wise to use. It's like that phrase from Meister Eckhart where he says that if the only prayer we ever say is thank you, that will suffice. Living in that vibration of gratitude, acknowledging the good that is here, turning our attention toward the good that is here in every single moment. That in and of itself will call forth more and more and more good. So it's not a waste of time ever to lean into gratitude, to live in the land of thanksgiving, to celebrate the moments of answered prayer. It's not ever a waste of time. But being in that vibration makes us open and receptive and available for more good to flow into our lives. For more good to flow into our lives. And so I'm setting the intention for myself to, whenever someone emails me or reaches out to me in whatever form, to actually stop. To stop, acknowledge that this is an opportunity for me to be, or actually to stop and acknowledge that I have allowed for some kind of transformation to occur in that individual's life. I have been that instrument of spirit. I have been that point of healing. Now it's not me doing it, so I'm not taking personal credit for it, but I want to bring it back to me in the sense that I have been able to be of service. I want to acknowledge that I have been able to be of service, and I want to acknowledge that is that opportunity for me to serve. That this individual found its way to my work, and that they were touched by it, that they were moved by it, that they were inspired or empowered by it or uplifted by it. That is what I'm praying about. That is what I'm praying for. So I am wise, and I am invited to actually stop. And this is my intention now. I've set this intention many times before. And I'm in this moment asking God for help to honor this intention. To stop and just give thanks that I got to be of service. To just give thanks that I got to touch and move and inspire, empower, uplift. That I was given the opportunity to do what I'm here to do, what my soul calling is. It doesn't have to be a long prayer. It doesn't have to take long. Only a few short seconds. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you that I get to be your humble servant. Thank you that I get to be your instrument. Thank you that I get to be a greater teacher and healer than I've ever imagined. Thank you that I get to be an ever more powerful, ever expanding point of healing. Just one of these is enough. So that's what, like 2, 3, 4 seconds? That's it. But just stopping and acknowledging, celebrating the moments of answered prayer. It is so powerful. It is so powerful. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools that we have in transforming our lives and allowing for more and more and more good to flow into our lives. But we need to use it. We need to use it. The tool is there, but we need to pick it up. Just like any carpenter has a box or a bag full of tools, the carpenter needs to pick whatever tool they feel they need in this particular moment, they need to pick it up. If they want to build a house, they need to use the tools that they have. Unless they use them, I don't know if that house is going to get built. Or it might be twisted, it might be leaning this way or that way. It might be off. But using the tools that we have at our disposal, gratitude, thanksgiving, appreciation, and making that a habit, not only once in a while, not only when big and mighty gifts and blessings come into our experience. We're wise to lean into gratitude then as well, but why wait? Why not stop, come back, express gratitude, appreciation, thanksgiving for the little things as well. The little things as well. So in this moment, I'm grateful for that. Thank you, God, for that invitation. Thank you, God, for that invitation. And thank you for the people that have reached out to me only during the few short hours of this day and thanked me. Thank you that I get to serve, that I get to assist, that I get to be a point of healing, that I get to be your instrument, that I get to be your humble servant. Thank you. In this moment, in every single moment. So in this moment, I'm inviting us all to take a few short moments, become still, turn within, and ask ourselves, how can we expand in gratitude? How can we expand this beautiful tool of thanksgiving? How can we lean into that more? How can we give that permission to expand? Because all of this is about practice, yes, absolutely, but ultimately about expanded practice. So how can we give the tool of gratitude permission to expand in our lives, not someone else's? But how can I lean more into gratitude? I want us to sit with that for a while, for a moment. I'm reminded, the moment is not over yet, but I was reminded of a quote from Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, where he says something to the effect that the enlightened gives thanks for what ordinary people take for granted. So what can we begin to give thanks for that we perhaps have taken for granted up until now? How can we give more room for gratitude in our lives? Not only today, but for the rest of our lives. From this day on, from this day forward. So these insights and realizations, obviously, they are, if we want to share them, we're more than welcome to. Or if you want to share them, you're more than welcome to. If not, this is for us as individuals. This is not something that we have to share with anyone else. But what is important is that whenever we have an insight, whenever we have a realization, it is important that we not only catch it, but that we actually give it permission to move us into some kind of change, into some kind of expanded practice, as we were talking about. Practice absolutely is the foundation for this path. But if we want to continue to expand, if we want to continue to move forward, the practice needs, whatever the practice is, whatever our practice is, it needs to be expanded. We need to stretch in our practice, in our meditation, in our prayer, in our service, in our sacred study. As long as we stay the same, nothing is going to change. But we need to be that ever-expanding vessel which allows for the good and for the expansion to happen through. And that does not only mean that we need to release and let go of thought patterns and judgments and opinions and all of that. But it also means that we need to release and let go of our thoughts as to what our practice, quote unquote, should look like, so that something new, greater, grander, more expanded may emerge. We're wise to whatever insights and realizations we have caught. We're wise to write them down, so to catch them, so that we do not forget about them. And I think we're done for today. We've explored gratitude. There was something else that I caught earlier today, but I don't think that may be for next week. Living in yes and thank you. Living in yes and thank you. That was something else that Reverend Kim talked about that I was inspired by. But that is a different topic. That's for another day, for another space, for another place. So I'm going to pray us out, and we'll be on our way as beneficial presences, as ever-expanding points of light and love and peace and joy here on this planet at this time. So I invite us to close our eyes, and in this moment, thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful, not only for this podcast, for this space, but for every single being and every single experience that have contributed to me being here, to me being now, because I absolutely love and I'm so grateful for who I am, for where I am, for who I am becoming, and for that which is emerging into my life in us and through me. I'm profoundly grateful. I'm grateful beyond words for that moment in time so many years ago that sort of marked the beginning of this journey for me. Because I was sitting in my office and crying upon realizing that I had no idea what freedom is. I'm so grateful for that moment of pain and that moment of release and everything that has come since. I'm grateful for all the individuals that are in my life now, that are so lovingly supporting me, rooting for me, praying for me, empowering me, loving me in such a beautiful way. I'm so grateful for what my life is about. How I get to serve, how I get to show up, how I get to assist, be a beneficial presence here on the planet, a change agent, a light agent, a love agent, an emissary of God here on this planet. And obviously I'm so grateful for you. And obviously I'm so grateful for you, whoever you are, wherever you are, for tuning in, for your willingness, for your having said yes to be on this path, to do this work, recognizing all of us as God, as the one mind, the one power, the one presence, the one intelligence. All love, all grace, all peace, all joy, all harmony, fully present in every space and place, always for itself, always benevolent, always good, and always expressing itself perfectly. So right here where we are God expressing itself perfectly. We are unique, perfect, whole and complete emanations of God. Every single aspect of our lives is God. We have no life outside of God. We have no existence outside of God. But we and God are one. Always, now, forever. One. One, one, one. For knowing this, for feeling this, I give thanks. For knowing and feeling this and so much more, I give thanks. Knowing that it is done, I give thanks. It already is. And as I release the word, I do so, knowing that this doneness is now demonstrating, manifesting itself here in this dimension. I surrender to it, I allow it to be. So it is, so be it, so shall it be, and so we are, because so God is. Amen, Amin, Ashe, Aho, Hotep, Shalom, Salam, and Hallelujah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next time, I bless all of our days, and I bless all of our ways. With much love, many blessings to us all. Namaste. You've been listening to an episode of the Path to Freedom podcast with me, Daniel Roquéo. I invite you to like and subscribe to be notified when new episodes are dropped. And in between episodes, you can always find me on Insight Timer, the Aura Health app, and YouTube. Or you can visit my website, danielroqueo.com. Until we meet again, I bless your day, and I bless your way. With much love and many blessings, namaste.